This is in the locker room. This is before the game ended. Before the game ended. She comes out in the locker room and posts this. Like, what are we doing?
Sitting there and I'm thinking to myself, is anybody on this team going to stand up for Caitlin Clark? JC Sheldon grabbing Caitlin Clark all game, clawing at her. It's like tonight was a brawl, folks. Tonight was a brawl, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, is anybody on this team going to stand up for... And Sophie Cunningham.
What do you get when Sophie Cunningham locks in like a one-woman wrecking crew and decides guarding Caitlin Clark is her personal WNBA mission? Absolute chaos. The court turned into a war zone, the Sun locker room spiraled, and Sophie was dishing out smoke like it was on clearance sale. And trust me, you're not ready for this level of drama. When Sophie lost it, she didn't just push back. She went full superhero mode, Avengers style, taking on the entire Sun squad. Buckle up, this one's hotter than an Angel Reese clapback on Twitter.
Let's start with the play that set off the entire night. So as you guys can see here, JC Sheldon is guarding Caitlin Clark. She swipes her in the eyeball. Caitlin Clark nudges her off because JC stays in her face. And then Tina Charles runs over and is kind of wagging her finger in Caitlin Clark's face. And then Marina Mabrey comes out of nowhere and chucks her to the floor. Now let's watch this in slow motion. Here, JC Sheldon is guarding Caitlin, swipes her in the face. There's one. Going for the ball, swipes her in the eyeball. Caitlin's gonna have to start wearing goggles. And then Caitlin pushes her off of her, like, why are you still in my face? Marina Mabrey, bat out of hell, chucks Caitlin Clark.
The moment Sophie Cunningham checked in, the whole WNBA might as well have filed an insurance claim. Because Sophie didn't clock in to just play ball, she clocked in to do damage. And by damage, we mean shadowing Caitlin Clark through every shove, bump, and borderline ambush like she was a priceless crown jewel in the middle of a street brawl.
Welcome to WNBA Fight Night, or as some people are saying, WNBA Raw. What a game that was. We had it all. We had basketball, we had fighting, we had blonde on blonde crime. Oh, such an epic. Oh, goodness. But at the end of the day, it resulted in an Indiana Fever W. 88-71, taking care of business.
Forget teammates. Sophie's out here moving like the Secret Service if the Secret Service doubled as a wrecking crew. You so much as lean an elbow into Caitlin? Boom. Sophie's there on instant teleport, WWE tag-in style, ready to wreck your shoe deal and your dental alignment in one motion. You try a cheap bump after the whistle? Congrats. You just summoned the full fury of a certified enforcer with a jumper, zero chill, and absolutely no sympathy for your feelings.
About, let's start here. This is, of course, Sophie and Sheldon going down the floor. Sophie tries to wrap her up, and Sheldon gets to the floor, and all hell breaks loose. And Sophie said, I'm not having it. I'm not having it. We'll go. We'll go. So there's that. That, of course, was all a byproduct of this right here, folks. And I mean, when I tell you social media is setting the WNBA on fire right now, not in a good way, that's the understatement.
She's not here to debate. She's here to deliver verdicts. The court transforms into her courtroom, and every ruling comes stamped with the same sentence: maximum pressure. This isn't just protection, it's domination by proxy. Sophie's perfected the science of the shoulder check, the stare that rips your confidence straight from your chest, and that go-ahead, try-me body language that makes even the boldest vets think twice before crossing the perimeter.
Of course, Marina Mabrey is going to get ejected because that was unwarranted. She literally came out of nowhere and chucked Caitlin Clark. There should be a flagrant one, of course, on JC Sheldon because she swiped her and hit her in the eyeball. Whether it is intentional or not, you can still have a flagrant call foul a flagrant foul called on you, whether you are trying to intentionally hurt somebody or not. But this is what they called, you guys. This is what they called. Caitlin Clark, Marina Mabrey, Tina Charles were assessed with technical fouls on Tuesday. Caitlin, Marina, and Tina Charles. Technical fouls. That's it. Technical fouls. That's it. And JC Sheldon was assessed with a flagrant 1 foul, and no players were ejected.
She doesn't wait for drama. She hunts it down, like she's been skimming the opponent's group chat all week. The second hostility flickers, Sophie's already inbound. Full Cunningham mode means no post-game hugs, no friendly dap-ups, no warm-up smiles. She runs on one frequency only: touch Clark and you touch chaos. Sophie is the WNBA's human alarm system, hardwired to high alert. While others practice mindfulness, she's running silent background checks with her eyes. One wrong move toward Clark, and you'd better call a medic. This isn't loyalty, it's obsession fused with nuclear intensity. She doesn't stroll into arenas with a Zen playlist. She stomps in like she's daring anyone, to flip the switch. Her aura alone makes sideline reporters fidget, and teammates thank the basketball gods she's on their side. This isn't learned energy, it's instinct. The league hasn't felt this level of volatile devotion since defenders moved like nightclub bouncers. Cunningham just updated the blueprint, coding it in fresh badassery and a zero-tolerance policy for disrespect.
I feel good, and Sophie Cunningham put me out on a high note, folks. I didn't even say, Ben, calm down. Calm down, regroup. I didn't even say that. Let's get straight to the play. Everybody, the plays everybody is talking about. First off, Marina Mabrey body checking Caitlin Clark to the ground. JC Sheldon all over her. Riding her. Pokes Caitlin Clark in the eye. Oh, man. Caitlin Clark needs to start wearing goggles, folks. Caitlin Clark's going to need to start wearing goggles. Bumps up on Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark says, "Get your hands off me." And then here comes Marina Mabrey. Boom! Exploding Caitlin Clark like a safety coming downhill in the NFL. There was no flop there.
The WNBA hasn't seen this kind of unapologetic ride-or-die energy in years. Think Dennis Rodman, only with a girl boss edge and zero tolerance for passive aggression. Cunningham doesn't just enter the game. She hurls herself straight into the storm and dares it to rage harder. And let's be real, Caitlin Clark walked into the league with a target so massive it might as well have its own zip code. Rookie of the month? Forget that. She was enemy of the month, every month. Whole rosters treated her like open season, not just defenders. Some came with their best game faces. Others showed up carrying old grudges, rivalries, and baggage that had nothing to do with her, but got dumped on her anyway. What they didn't expect was Sophie Cunningham, watching every angle like a hawk that skipped breakfast, and was starving for anyone bold enough to take a swing.
Recording this reaction earlier with 1 minute left, and all hell broke loose between JC Sheldon and Sophie Cunningham, and it is very clear the Indiana Fever, some of these girls on this team are finally fed up. Finally fed up. Once again, WNBA, we're not talking about your basketball. We're talking about the WNBA WWE Raw circus that you got going on right now, and we all know this incident with Sophie stems from the incident that was clearly not handled correctly by the WNBA and the referees.
They didn't realize how fast one woman could lock down an entire no-go zone around her teammate, flipping every thread into an excuse for demolition. While Caitlin handled the chaos of being the headline magnet, Sophie turned storm chaser, spine of steel, memory sharper than her crossover. This wasn't about stat sheets or highlight reels. It was about making sure Clark didn't have to flinch every time a stray elbow flew her way. So while the rest of the league schemed and whispered, Sophie strapped on invisible brass knuckles and reminded everyone, the rookie might be the future, but her present? Yeah, that's under heavy protection. What they missed is simple. Caitlin didn't walk into the WNBA alone. She walked in with Sophie. And Sophie isn't the kind of bodyguard who just walks you to the car. She's the kind who dismantles the parking lot, flips the car, and then personally cuffs anyone who even blinked wrong on the way out. Because for every shove Caitlin takes, Sophie delivers a full-blown televised awakening. When the Sun players thought they could get slick with hard fouls and cheap screens, Sophie went medieval. No hesitation, no apologies. Just pure, primal vengeance wrapped in a ponytail and a death stare. She didn't pause for theatrics. She slid between Clark and danger like she'd been training her whole life to play Terminator in sneakers. And make no mistake, this isn't for show. Sophie's not buying the "we just play tough defense" excuse while someone's trying to fold Caitlin into a chiropractic bill. The second you target Clark, Sophie's already 10 steps ahead, dropping a borderline legal screen with enough intensity to get fined retroactively. At this point, it's not defense anymore. It's deterrence. That smug walk an opponent makes toward Caitlin to send a message? Sophie sees it before the cameras catch it, and suddenly that player's jogging back to the bench, confused, rattled, and not entirely sure why.